Round 32 of the 1991-92 Italian League season, and the championship could well be decided today. Milan visit the San Paolo Stadium in Naples, just 1 point away from succeeding Sampdoria as champions. Milan, remember, still unbeaten in the league, have had so many highlights this season. The most memorable perhaps back in January, when Napoli were annihilated in the San Siro by 5-0.
Milan, of course, champions back in '88, Napoli league winners in '87, and again in '90, and something has to give today. With these two teams in such splendid form, and what a start then. Maldini has headed Milan in front inside the first minute. A sensational start. Donadoni. Here's Van Basten now. Rijkaard's got ahead of him. This is Rijkaard, and that's the second goal. Magnificent finish from Rijkaard. Ivani taking the free kick. And it back was from Maldini. And another goal. Massaro makes it 3. This is Donadoni. He's got Massaro in the middle. And Ivani. Still Donadoni. Oh, what a goal. Fantastic shot from Donadoni. And you'll not see a cleaner strike than that anywhere in world football. And there's the goal. That's it. Now Van Basten is on the score sheet. Emphatically finished. And it's 5 to Milan.
Napoli are without their influential Brazilian Alemão, so Fernando Di Napoli returns to the starting lineup after being named a substitute in last week's defeat at Foggia. And in goal, Giovanni Galli, a member of Milan's last championship-winning side of 1988. The league's leading marksman, Marco Van Basten, passed a late fitness test on an ankle injury. Diego Fuser, who came on for Van Basten against Lazio and scored, retains his place. And on the bench, Ruud Gullit, back after his latest knee operation. Gullit is expected to play at some point today. The referee, Pierluigi Pareto, your match commentator, Peter Brackley.
So many accolades have come Milan's way in this memorable season for them. And today, then, they can cap it all by clinching the title in front of this huge Naples crowd. A pleasant day in the south of Italy, but no pleasantries, I'm sure, out on the field as these two great rivals set about each other. Napoli certainly won't be offering meek surrender, so determined are they to make amends for that 5-0 thrashing by Milan earlier on in the season. A truly exhilarating display that will go down as one of the outstanding exhibitions of modern-day football. Although Napoli felt the score didn't do them justice. They feel they didn't play that badly, but simply met a Milan side at the very peak of their powers. This is Crippa, one of the many internationals on view. Certainly the Napoli players are fired up for this game. Be warned, they say, to the Milan players, don't come here expecting to celebrate. We intend to spoil the party. Tassotti for Milan. Certainly a shock to see Van Basten in the starting lineup for Milan. No one had expected him to play today. And Simone had been lined up to replace him. But when the team sheet was revealed, there was the name of Marco Van Basten, the leading goal scorer, of course, in Italian football with 22. So a real fillip for Milan on the day they hope to make certain of the title that they've seemed destined to win for so many weeks now. Massaro challenging for this one, but Blanc is there. Costa Curta. to Rijkaard. 31 matches now, Milan unbeaten. A fantastic run. Indeed, you have to go way back to last May when they were beaten. And that was against Bari away from home. Now Rijkaard. This is Maldini, who scored in the first minute in that 5-0 humiliation of Napoli back in January. And that was to set the trend for some marvellous things to come. They really were quite outstanding that day, Milan. And a lot of English coaches have written into us asking for a video of the game to show to their own players, to show how the game can be played. This is Rijkaard, he's clean through here. Oh, and he's steered it wide. Well, that was a fantastic run then by Rijkaard. And he will be so furious with himself that he didn't convert what in the end was, by his standards, a very clear-cut opening. Great work here. He had a lot of time to place it too. And Gali was quickly sprinting out towards him and maybe just did enough to, well, distract him anyway. And somehow Rijkaard failed to guide it in. Corradini's pass. Now Zola's away. He's got Correca waiting in the middle. It was a clumsy tackle. It sent Zola tumbling. Seems to be okay. But the referee, no hesitation in awarding the free kick as Costa Curta just clattered into him. Block has come up from the back, wearing 6 there. Zola's free kick. Off Rijkaard, and it's a corner. So some pressure being exerted here by Napoli, having survived the early flourish from Milan. This is Kripa. Just too long. Fuser wins it. Well, Maldini got sprinting out of defence then. Not the usual sort of territory we find him in, down the right-hand side. And he's now trotting back to his more accustomed role on the left. This is Rijkaard. And that was very casual. Correca trying to force something from that. Well, he's won the throw. Such a danger to any defence, of course, Correca. Really polished and accomplished player. Headers over the top from Padovano. Well, he escaped the marking then and couldn't keep his header down. Padovano, who's the 3rd top scorer in the side with 7 behind Correca and Zola, and he climbed well, but no accuracy on the header. Top scorer with Pisa last season, 11 goals, so he knows where the net is, Padovano. Milan positively coming forward, but to no avail. So it's Zola for Napoli. Again, producing his vision then. Padovano. Now, is that a foul by Costa Curta? Yes, the referee has given it. And I think he's going to have a word too with Costa Curta. Maybe a yellow card. Costa Curta, who was sent off, you may remember, right at the end of that match back in January. Rather needlessly too. It was for deliberate handball on that occasion. A yellow card confirmed for Costa Curta. So he's living dangerously again. Zola, as ever, lining up the free kick. Napoli have posted 5 in the penalty box. Not that it did them much good. Now that would have pleased the coach Ranieri, who at least has seen his team improve domestically on last season when they could only finish 8th. Fuser. Massaro wants it through the middle. Still Fuser. And his teammates will feel that he took it too far. He's getting a ticking off. So Milan's corner. Fuser is going to take it. Some jostling going on the line as Van Basten came in, but rather tamely into the arms of Galli. Half an hour gone. Napoli 0, Milan 0. Now Zola. Good build up here by Napoli, and then it ran away from Careca. Just need that spark of extra imagination, really, Napoli, to break Milan down. They are so organised at the back around Baresi and Costa Curta. Baresi, of course, for many years established in the Italian national side, and Costa Curta has now joined him in Arrigo Sacchi's team. And they're very hard to ruffle at the back. Spoke too soon. Mix up there. Tassotti and Antonioli. And Padovano almost nipped in. Here's Careca now with the corner. Way by Maldini. And the counter-attack launched by Massaro. Maldini's gone sprinting on too. Now, what support does he have here? Well, that Baston and Massaro kept hurtling upfield to join him then, but he'd already lost it. But a positive break then by Maldini. Once again, an outstanding season for the young Italian international. Still only in his early 20s, he seems to have been around for years. But then he started his professional career so young. Van Basten. Oh, now then for Rijkaard, is this the first goal? It is, in the most emphatic fashion too. Rijkaard the scorer. And Napoli were torn apart then. Gloriously created goal and finished in style. 8 minutes to half-time. Milan take the lead. Frank Rijkaard. Van Basten slipping it on there. And look at the quality finish from Frank Rijkaard. His left foot driven beyond Galli. And I wonder now, are Milan heading towards the championship this afternoon? Frank Rijkaard with his 5th goal of the season. And he's put Milan now very much in the driving seat. The Dutch combination has paid off once again, as it has so often in the past for this marvellous Milan side. Now Napoli have it all to do. For the moment, Rijkaard, the goal scorer, is down in pain. Careca will be now. Well, protests for the referee to sort out from both sides. Can't quite see what Milan's case is, unless they're, yes, I think they're still protesting about the tackle that left Rijkaard injured. Costa Curta, who's already been booked, remember, and he sent Careca flying then. Rijkaard's back on his feet. Careca's all right too. I don't think the referee has taken any further action other than to award the free kick to Napoli. The shot got through and was well saved too by Antonioli, who presumably had a reasonable view of that. Certainly gathered it cleanly enough. Here's Rijkaard finding Maldini. Early ball in search of Fouzer. The whistle has gone to end the first half. And at the end of the 45 minutes, it's Milan who lead by the only goal so far. Scored on 37 minutes by Frank Rijkaard, who had before that the best opportunity, which he wasted. But he made no mistake at all with that second one that divides the two teams at half-time, and Milan, on the balance of play, deservedly in front. Join us again in the second half. Welcome back to the San Paolo Stadium in Naples, where Milan are now 45 minutes away then from picking up their 12th league title. Frank Rijkaard's goal has them deservedly in front at the halfway stage. And Napoli, without any doubt at all, will have to raise their game a notch or two in the second half if they are to alter the destiny of this encounter. Milan smooth and polished, and really not lacking in adventure either. Clearly their target today is victory, rather than just settling for the draw they need. Now there's been a switch at half-time, just checking round. Napoli have brought on Massimo Mauro, and they've taken off De Napoli, the player who is set to join Milan next season, remember. So it's a midfield player swapped for a midfield player. Rijkaard, Donadoni, and that challenge then was from Mauro. He was out of action between September and February, and he hasn't been used in Napoli's last 3 league games. Former Juventus player. 29 years old, so plenty of experience behind him. Massimo Mauro, wearing 15 for Napoli. Baresi. As ever, so elegant in the first half, Baresi. Not too much has got past him so far, nor indeed Costacurta alongside him. Albertini. Now Napoli at full stretch here. Fouzer has a lot of strength, and the shot driven wide by Massaro. I think stumped his toe in the process. But they've been by far the better side so far, Milan. Eventually, they'll repeat the 5-0 of January. But certainly they're looking good for the points at the moment, and indeed the championship. Now Mauro. On from Zola. Creca, good skill. Always shows such fine, tight, close control, Creca. Padovano. That's neatly done from him too, until Costacurta sends him crashing to the ground. Padovano. Turn of pace then. Costacurta resulted to bringing him down. Now, what might little Zola have up his sleeve here? Maradona's successor, of course, at the Napoli side, wearing the coveted number 10 shirt. And he's worn it with some distinction this season, too. Could be a test here for Antonioli. There's Zola, and he was equal to it. Correca quickly closed down. And Correca in the end giving it straight to Antonioli. And that was a fine save by the goalkeeper then. Crippa. Massaro now. Here's Donadoni. And the break is on for Milan. Foggia. In towards Massaro, who stayed onside, and then the header off the post from Maldini. A narrow escape then for Napoli, and Milan thought they'd got the cushion of the second goal. It was Maldini's header that bounced back off the post. This is Mauro. Ran straight into Rijkaard. Foggia. Trying to go it alone, and he's brought down. But here we'll see this near miss again. Massaro knocks it back across there, and there's the header, and it's off the post into the grateful arms of Galli as Van Basten came hurtling in too. Maldini, who scored against Napoli, remember, in that first meeting in January, and thought he'd done so again. Massaro tipping it back. Galli is there. And there's a real zest to the game at the start of the second half. Napoli not out of it yet. Donadoni. Shot was fired in by Albertini. A shot come cross, and Napoli have dealt with it. Donadoni's corner. Albertini. Maldini having to chase. Corradini has got with him, and Maldini's got away, and then was pulled back. And it's a penalty. A clear case. Maldini was yanked back then by Corradini. And he rather paid the price, Corradini, for dithering in his own penalty box. Maldini got away here, and there you'll see the tug. Pulled his shorts. And the referee right on the spot, absolutely right. And it's a penalty. And a chance for Marco Van Basten to add to his tally of 22. And he will then beat Aldo Sereno's total of 22 for Inter back in the 88-89 season. The championship season for Inter. And if he scores this, he'll be the highest scorer in the last decade in Italian football. Van Basten against Galli, and he saved it! Oh, superb reflex save by Galli, who punches the air in delight. And well, he might. That was a cracking stop. And that's getting him a tremendous round of applause, as you'd imagine, around the stadium. I think even Van Basten admired that one. And he seemed to hit it firmly enough, but Galli guessed correctly. Against his former teammates, he's produced a stunning save. Well, now that's a pity there to see bottles, another debris raining down from the terraces. Let's hope matters don't get out of hand here. It's another yellow card. It's Correca arguing with Baresi and Costa Curta. So Correca has now been booked. And he charged into Costa Curta then. Well, the crowd didn't like it, nor did Correca. But from my view there, the referee was absolutely right. Correca was the offender. Tassotti wins the throw. Albertini. And the save by Galli has given Napoli fresh hope now. Certainly a second goal surely would have put the game beyond them. The heroics from Galli, and it stays at 1-0. We've had now 12 minutes of the second half. Van Basten away. Only partially cleared. Albertini, that was an excellent pass then. Tassotti now. And he'd drawn Galli out. And the corner conceded by Corradini. So again, Ranieri is seeing his team hanging on a little. Corradini, who gave away the penalty. And no one would have been more relieved than him to see Galli produce that save. Meantime, another injury problem. That's young Albertini. Well, he's wincing a little, but he seems to be okay. And he's a real battler, a very competitive, aggressive young player. Now, here's the corner. Up goes Padovano. Did well to win that in the air then, ahead of Tassotti. Correca, now Padovano. It's Correca now. Shooting chance. And Antonioli was right behind it. And still you could see bottles and other items being thrown onto the pitch. The crowd becoming rather incensed. Maybe at their own team's lack of ability in breaking Milan down, I don't know. But certainly not too happy, and it's turning a little nasty here, the atmosphere. But Capello knows his team have one hand on the championship. Mauro. Now a fall here for Zola. Down he goes, and the referee gives the corner. Now there are arguments raging. Correca having his say. Zola here. Now, is there any question of a penalty? Well, he's tackled by Costa Curta. Down he goes. The referee had a good long hard look and said, no, that's just a corner. A lot of whistles around the stadium at the moment. All from Napoli fans. Zola's corner. Donadoni can't keep it in. And just for the moment, the pressure here is all on Milan. Zola. 15 minutes into the second half. Napoli 0, Milan 1. Tassotti. Moment of panic. Rare from him. Zola once more. Taking the corner short this time. This is Mauro. They've stayed onside, and it's there. Blanca's got it. 1-1. Galli celebrates. His penalty save kept his team in the game. And now they've struck at the other end. Laurent Blanc, the French international. Mauro with the cross. You'll see Blanc just hang back, timed it perfectly. Rijkaard couldn't make it, nor could Antonioli. And we're back to level pegging here now, one apiece. Tassotti. And the tackle officials were overzealous then. It's another yellow card. Sotti. And a second switch being made. Pacheco now coming on for Napoli. Vittorio Pacheco, who played in the 5-0 defeat against Milan back in January. So he now has come on. Mauro. Van Basten's touch. Rossano making the running here. Until a well-timed tackle denied him any further progress. Crippa. Napoli now looking to take the game to Milan. Zola. Whatever Juventus do today, it doesn't matter as long as Milan avoid defeat. And that's not so much of a formality as it was a short while ago when they were leading. They had the penalty. But when Van Basten failed to score, suddenly there was a fresh glimmer of light for Napoli, and they've taken advantage. They've come back here in the second half. Padovano. Tarantino couldn't reach the pass. And Ruholic is about to make his entrance here for Milan. Wearing number 15. His latest knee operation was carried out in Holland. He's had a few weeks out, Ruholic, as Fuzier goes off. I wonder what kind of impact he's going to make here now. Well, he's getting whistled and jeered, as you'd imagine, by the Napoli followers. And they know what a danger he can be. One of the world's truly gifted players, Ruholic. Now on for Milan. Off goes Careca. Well, that's good defending then by Maldini. Rossano. Rijkaard. Milan looking to get their rhythm going again now. Another hold up for the foul on Van Basten. Napoli want him to get up and get on with it. There's the foul. Quite a clear one too from Tarantino. He does have this ankle problem, and it looks as if it was his ankle that was tapped then. So I wouldn't think he's feigning injury. Donadoni whips in the cross, in goes Hulic. And it's a goal kick. Now, here's another substitution being made. Simone coming on, and Van Basten. Well, they're taking no further risks with him. He is coming off. And Simone, who we thought was going to start the game in place of him anyway, now does have his chance to shine. Albeit for just a few minutes. Van Basten off, Simone on. Baresi. Free kick to Napoli. Taken by Mauro. Bushedu. Just too many defenders for him, really. Tarantino's tackle. Mauro. Zola. Now Padovano. Oh, good turn. Well, he couldn't keep the shot down. It looked to be a sharp piece of finishing initially from Padovano. And there was a scare then for Milan, who aren't there yet. He was away from Costa Curta, and it was poor quality finishing really from Padovano. Keep ball, I would think, as much as possible now for Milan. Only minutes away from making certain of the title. Rijkaard's pass. We're into the last 5 minutes. Albertini on. Asano claiming the free kick. The referee turned away. Milan still in possession with Rijkaard. Now Costa Curta. The break could be on for Napoli. Calecca. And he's hit it wide. I think the referee may well have blown anyway. Quite clearly the Milan players felt he should have done. As Calecca sprinted clear, got away from Costa Curta. There was quite a tangle between the two. There was a hand there, surely, from Calecca. That's what the complaints were about, and indeed the free kick was eventually given anyway. Rijkaard now. And surely no one would deny Milan the championship. The way they played this season with so much style and panache. Maybe they'll finish it in style. Hulic! And then it went wide from Simone. He's only just come on, and he could have made a real name for himself then. Hulic so quick to see the opportunity, and it was rather scuffed then by Simone, with Galli way out of position. Simone lost out. Zola. Just a couple of minutes now left for Milan. Napoli persevering, but I don't think they're going to deny them now. Ranieri, the coach of Napoli, still urging his team on. But a draw is going to be enough if Milan survive the last couple of minutes now. They've played so much outstanding football all season. The dominant force really throughout the campaign for all Juve's endeavours to catch them. They've just slipped into another gear when they've needed to. And football often exhilarating, always thoughtful and cohesive. And surely now it is deservedly going to land them their 12th championship. Milan throw. And already the Milan fans beginning their celebrations. They think it's all over. Not quite. Fabio Capello, in his first season, of course, in charge, surrounded by a posse of photographers at the moment. Everybody wanting to claim the photograph of the man who's led Milan to this latest triumph. Well, Has Zola one last trick up his sleeve? Not this time. Milan free kick. Foul on Simone. The seconds ticking away now. Milan winners in '88. And now with Marco van Basten and company in such tremendous form this season, they are destined to be champions again. Stunning marksmanship, of course, from Van Basten in particular, with those 22 goals. But so many successes in the Milan side. And when players have had to come in, well, it hasn't ruffled them in any way, hasn't knocked them out of their stride. They've just kept going. And they have this fantastic unbeaten record. Surely now, barring any accidents in the last few seconds of the game, they're going to be the first team to win Serie A unbeaten. And there it is, the final whistle has blown, and Milan are the 1992 Serie A champions. And deservedly so. 1-1 here, that was all they needed. Beaming Fabio Capello, the coach. No easy task, following on from Arrigo Sacchi. And he has led the team to this latest triumph. And the fans who have made the trip to Naples have a lot of celebrating to do now, as indeed the players are doing. And there he is, the maestro himself, Franco Baresi. What a captain, what an inspiration. Well, the flags are waving as the team set off on their lap of victory, lap of celebration. So there it is, the final score in Naples. Napoli 1, Milan 1, enough to give Milan the Serie A championship.
Just 4 days after the cup final first leg, Parma and Juve reluctantly meet once again. Minotti's header almost putting Parma in front early on. A long-distance effort by Carini was the closest Juve came in the first half, but they came much closer after the break, with Schillaci putting Gallia in on goal, only for Taffarel to stand his ground and save comfortably. Pulgar rattled Juve's crossbar later, and honour was satisfied. The cup final second leg will be a much hotter affair. Torino tuned up for the UEFA Cup Final's second leg against Ajax by scoring 4 at home to Genoa. The game brought forward 24 hours to Saturday. Bresciani found himself totally alone in Genoa's box to steer home the opener against opponents with little left to play for, and how it showed. There was exhibition stuff after half-time. Enzo Schifo's free kick round the wall beating Berti from fully 25 metres. Vieri made it 3 with an accurate downward header, and Schifo's raking pass set up number 4 for Pollicano. He was allowed to stroll forward from left-back and almost walk the ball unguarded into the Genoa net. Ajax's defending will not be so charitable. Foggia's mid-season slump is now only a distant memory, but Lazio looked like winners here early on. Karl-Heinz Riedler breaking on his own from halfway, given onside, but then missing the target. Lazio made all the early running. Ruben Sosa battling to get on the end of Berger's long ball from the back. It fell nicely for Riedler, but Mancini coped admirably. Slowly Foggia worked their way into it. The left foot of Giuseppe Signori, a potent weapon. Twice Fiori denied him in the moments before half-time. But 4 minutes after the break, Foggia were in front. Igor Shalimov setting Roberto Rambaudi free on the right. Good footwork before and after opening the scoring. Foggia's confidence is sky high. Rambaudi could have scored again almost immediately, and on 53, Codaspotti's run and cross got Verga and Fiori into a terrible mess. Francesco Baiano running in his 15th of the season. Foggia in total control and cruising. Signori yet again blocked by Fiori, and only a desperate goal line clearance by Corino prevented Rambaudi making it 3. Ruben Sosa's 90th minute riposte for Lazio was too little, way too late. Roma, chasing points for a UEFA Cup place, made very heavy weather of collecting them off Ascoli, the bottom club in the Olympic Stadium. They had no problems making chances, Rudi Voller coming close to an opener with his trademark shot on the turn, and in the second half, Andrea Carnevale, on as a substitute for Salzano, claiming in vain that his header had almost crept in. Then Carnevale earned Roma a penalty, the foul given against Mancini. But even then, Roma couldn't break through. A third penalty missed in 3 matches for them. Rizzitelli, on 72 minutes, the culprit. It really began to look as though Roma would drop a vital point when Alder headed over. And then, with only a couple of minutes to go, the substitution eventually paid off. Carnevale reacting first in a crowded box to convert Hesser's drive and give Roma victory. But how hard they made it for themselves. Relegated Cremonese proved an even tougher proposition at Inter. Riccardo Ferri's shot from a free kick early on seemed to indicate a straightforward home victory. But it soon began to look like another case of Inter's chronic inability to score at home. Desideri sending Berti in on Rampula, the anxiety in front of goal all too clear. Berti's commitment is always total, but the harder he tried, the less dangerous he began to look. With Inter stretched forward, Gian Di Biagi got away on the counter-attack to set up Gustavo Dazzotti on 63 minutes. And a shock result was guaranteed when Dazzotti was brought down by Walter Zenger on another counter-attack. Dazzotti got up to convert the penalty, and Inter were booed off, no doubt wishing the season were already finished. Relegated Verona displayed much less stomach for a fight at home to Atalanta. Niccolini won possession easily in midfield to give Claudio Caniggia his second goal in consecutive matches. A giveaway penalty 2 minutes later when Konachia went tumbling in the box, and that gave Carlos Bianchesi the chance to make it 2 from the spot. Verona sparked briefly to life when Fana created a good chance for Girardello, but it looked as though only the keeping of Gregori stood between Verona and a size of defeat seldom seen in the Serie A. Verona's defensive record speaks for itself. Only Ascoli have conceded more this season. The keeper constantly at full stretch just to keep it respectable. But then he unfortunately undid all his own good work, missing a straightforward punch that allowed the defender Pasciulo to get onto the score sheet. Verona gained only small compensation when a shot from Stojkovic was somehow deflected home by Girardello, but it was easy away pickings for Atalanta. Chances were few and far between in the vital match in Sicily. Cagliari could have gone ahead halfway through the first half, but Nardini couldn't convert Hierra's accurate cross. Cagliari kept making chances, Francescoli missing a free header, and as Bari came out to chase the win they had to get, Cagliari were grateful that their keeper Ielpo was reliable enough to protect the point needed for safety. It led to wild celebrations as Mazzoni's team secured their own future at Bari's expense. With Sampdoria denying interest in Fiorentina's Dunga, the Brazilian chose his moment well to deliver a timely reminder of his power. Fortunately for Pagliuca, no one followed in and Sampdoria survived. His opposite number, Maragini, excelled when Lombardo headed on for Vialli. And when the breakthrough came for Sampdoria, it was once more the industry of Lombardo which created the danger. Roberto Busso expertly pulling off his marker to collect and score simultaneously. The game was ended as a contest on the hour. Fausto Pari twice involved in forward positions as Cerezo and Vialli helped get him into the box for the second. Sampdoria's fluid attacking proving much too difficult for Fiorentina. So, with 2 matches still to play, Cagliari are able to relax, assured of safety, as Bari join Verona, Cremonese and Ascoli in departing for Serie B for next season. The strength of the elite perhaps underlined as 3 of last season's 4 promoted teams find it just too tough at the top. Milan wrap up their 12th championship, the second of the Berlusconi era. Fair reward for the great strides the club has made in recent years. Unbeaten, a goal difference of plus 43. Juventus still hope for silverware, but they'll have to wait at least another season to try to add to their prized record of 22 league championships. How fitting that one of the Dutch imports who've helped revitalise Milan should apply the finishing stroke to this championship victory. With Van Basten and Gullit, Frank Rijkaard helped bring Milan back to the very top and keep them there. They've laid claim to being the best club side in the world. They have a vision of a European-wide league into the 21st century. And how reassuring that the team at the top has got back there by providing thrilling entertainment worthy of a larger stage.